Mark Rogers TV digging into college football expansion, specifically in this edition, Big Ten expansion. Mighty Nebraska's on board, and how will the Huskers fare in the Big Ten? Well, let's first take a history lesson going back to 1993 when Penn State joined the Big Ten. At that point, Michigan dominated the conference. They had won 5 consecutive conference championships. Iowa was pretty good under Hayden Fry, usually winning about 7 or 8 football games per year. Ohio State was down. John Cooper took over in 1988, and for about 5 years, the Buckeyes were winning 7 or 8 games, going to minor bowl games like the Liberty Bowl, like the Hall of Fame Bowl, and not getting a lot done nationally at that point. Purdue was horrible. Northwestern was what Northwestern used to be, atrocious. Indiana, bad. Illinois, barely making postseason play. The Big Ten wasn't really that great at that point. Wisconsin, they have really become the wild card. Wisconsin had not been to a Rose Bowl in 30 years, never made postseason play, and they jumped out the year Penn State joined the Big Ten in 1993, and they haven't looked back. They went to the Rose Bowl in 93 under Barry Alvarez, and Wisconsin's been a major factor in the conference and nationally ever since. Now for Penn State, yeah, they've had really good football teams, specifically in 1994 under quarterback Kerry Collins, going 12-0, winning the Big Ten championship, and they really should have shared the national championship. They've had some other really good teams in 95 and 96 making major bowl games. They had a down period for 3 seasons, losing seasons in a span of 4 years under Joe Paterno in the early 2000s. But again, Penn State has bounced back. They won an Orange Bowl, a couple Big Ten championships, made the Rose Bowl a couple years ago. Penn State's back as a staple in the top 10. Okay, how about Nebraska? Nebraska dominated in the mid-90s. They got over the hump, finally could beat Miami and Florida State in major bowl games, won national championships in 94, 95, and 97 with dominant, physical, fast football teams. Then, of course, Tom Osborne left, and they've had a real tough time regaining that kind of status. They had some horrible defenses, some slow defenses, and no dynamic players on offenses during most of the 2000s. Fielded okay football teams. But Bo Pelini has something going there in Nebraska. He has gotten back to hard-nosed, tough football. He's recreated defense there. They still need dynamic playmakers on offense, still need a quarterback for Nebraska to really jump into the top 10 and become a national championship contender again. So this is what I see for the Huskers in the Big Ten. I see Ohio State better. They recruit nationally. They certainly lock down Ohio. They get to Texas. They get to California and Florida for sure. Michigan's going to be back. Whether it's under Rich Rodriguez or somebody else, Michigan, too nationally known, too powerful not to get back. Penn State's going to continue to be very strong, as is Wisconsin. So I think Nebraska's going to fall into that slight second-tier mix with Penn State possibly, but more likely Wisconsin, Michigan State, some of those schools, in trying to compete with Ohio State and Michigan. So there it is, Husker fans. What do you think? I've downgraded you just a bit to basically winning 8 or 9 football games per year, maybe taking the conference championship 1 out of every 5 to 7 years, something like that. Nebraska, let's hear from you on Mark Rogers TV.